Yo, what's poppin', you guys? Sizzle here, and this is gonna be a quick video going over all the stuff I like to change on a fresh install of Fedora. So first things first, you want to go to the software store, and then hit this button in the top corner, hit Software Repositories, and you'll see this thing called Fedora Flatpaks. Just turn that off, and then hit Disable, and then put in your password. Because these things break all the time. They're not like properly supported most of the time, and normal Flatpaks work completely fine, so I don't really know why they bothered doing that. And then beyond that, you can disable anything else here you want to do. Most of the time, the default stuff here is nice for most people to have, so I wouldn't really mess with the rest of that right there. Next up, what we want to do is actually go over to the settings and change a few of our settings. So for example, in the displays section, make sure your displays have their proper refresh rate. For some reason, they still, to this day, default to 60 Hz. So make sure you change that and apply those changes, and then also reorganize them if that's something that you need to do, which is something that I needed to do, unfortunately. Okay, I realize now my recording kind of bugged out when I changed the display settings. So yeah, under displays, you want to make sure you actually click into them, change that refresh rate if that's something you have to do, and then reorganize this stuff however you need to reorganize it. In my case, this is fine. Like I said, under power, turn off automatic screen blank so that way it doesn't automatically shut off. Under multitasking, I turn off the hot corner and active screen edge because I don't use those features. If you do, keep them on. And then under workspaces, I set it to fixed number, and I just set it to 1 because I don't need any virtual ones when I go press this like Windows button. I don't have anything to the side, it's just my actual main monitor here, and then I have a second monitor off screen that has its thing there. I don't need like I could do 2, and now you could see there's like, I could swap between them on this one monitor, which is useful on laptops and stuff, but on a desktop, I don't really need all that. Under appearance, I always go dark mode, and then I like this background, I don't know, something that speaks to me, it's my background of choice. And then we can keep going. Most of this we really don't care about too much, so I'm just going to keep going through all this. Going to privacy and security, we can turn off location data if you already had it on, unless you want that on, but for most people, I don't really see why you care for that. And then date and time, if you haven't already set that up, make sure you go set that up, and that's about all there is to that. Next up, what we're going to do is, if this only worked if you're on GNOME on Fedora, which I am, that's the default. That's when your desktop looks like this, you're on GNOME. We're going to go search up Tweak and get Gnome Tweaks right here. Hit install. And we are going to change a few different things in here. So hit that open button, extensions move, sure, whatever. We want to go to appearance. I like going to legacy applications and setting it to dark mode when that's available. I have to look up again how to install the dark mode theme. Okay, so apparently to fix that, all we have to do is go to our terminal and type in this, which I'll have pasted in the description when I copy it over, but sudo dnf install gnome themes extra. Press enter, put in your password, and then I'll let it do its thing. It'll go install it for you, and it'll install all the different bonus themes, and then you'll have a dark mode option here, which I'll go back to in a second. While we have that installed in the background, I also like to go to Windows, and you can change a lot of different stuff here. I like actually most of the defaults, but I also like not just having an X button here, but also a maximize and minimize button. I got super used to them on Windows, and I love having them on Linux as well. And then beyond that, you could do startup applications, things that start up when your computer starts up. It can be super useful to see what's here and then add things. If, for example, you want like Discord or something to auto start, that can be super useful there. But yeah, if I reboot this, I think I have to reboot this. We can reopen Gnome Tweaks, go to appearance, and you can see add way to dark. You can also install more themes. So to install more themes, if you don't just want to use add way to normal, add way to dark, you just want to do Flatpak search GTK3 theme. And you'll see it pulls up literally every single theme that you can use with Flatpak and FlatHub and things like that. And yeah, you have quite a lot of options here. For me, for all my purposes, add way to dark just makes everything dark mode, and that's all I really care about. It looks fine, looks good enough for me. So that's all I really want to go do there. Something I also should have mentioned is how to actually go install whatever theme you want to go install. So let's say you want Arc Solid, whatever that is. I don't know what any of these are, I've never really bothered. But all you have to do is copy this right here with Control-Shift-C after highlighting it. You can see copy to clipboard. And then all you have to do is Flatpak, install, FlatHub, and then paste that in. And just like that, press enter, and it'll say proceed with these changes. You press Y. Another useful thing I like to go do is go to dist, and then under dist, you have any external drives. First off, make sure you've formatted them. This is already formatted, but I'll show you how to do it just in case, and I don't really mind reformatting it. Alright, so I'm going to just call it extra, because it's all of my extra space available. You can set whatever type you need. If you need to use a Windows, do NTFS. But for me, since I'm on Linux only, we're going to do ext4 and hit next, and then format, and then I'll let it run its course. Alright, now that this is done formatting, let's go show off what I actually came here to show, which is actually making sure that anything that you want to always mount, which basically means you want to load, right? So if you have more than one drive in your system, I have more than one drive in my system, and I want this to load every time my computer boots, instead of having to actually manually allow it to load every time. So we want to go hit this little gear icon, and then hit Edit Mount Options, turn off User Session Defaults, make sure Mount at System Startup's turned on, Show in User Interface if you want it to show up in your File Explorer. And then what we want to do is change this mount points to whatever we just called it. So MNT/extra, and then change identify as to label. And just like that, if we hit OK and put in our password, then it will be set to actually properly auto mount and show up as extra every single time. And then all we have to do is hit this play button and then put in our password again. And then it'll be actually properly mounted on our computer. You can see it mounted at mount/extra. So if we go to our files, we can go to extra, and you can see it right here, which is pretty neat, pretty straightforward. Always a really, really annoying thing to have to remember to do. But yeah, there's that. And beyond that, the last real big thing you want to do is go to your terminal, and what we're going to do is type sudo dnf update, and then put in our password. And then, yeah, just press Y and go actually update everything, because by default, all of the stuff on your computer won't be fully updated. So this will make sure everything actually gets the proper update it needs, and that your computer is running all the most modern stuff, and that things are good. One of the more vital things that I always kind of forget to do right away and then remember 1 second later is enabling RPM Fusion. So you want to go to rpmfusion.org. hit enable RPM Fusion on your system, scroll down, get the command line set up, and then Fedora with DNF, that's what we have. We're just going to go copy that over. I'll have it in the description if you want to try and paste it from there. Go back to our terminal, paste that in, put in your password, and then let it do its magic. Hit Y, and then we'll have stuff that we didn't have before. If we go and reload our software store, and we go into software repositories, you can now see we have the free and we have the non-free. This enables a few different things, none of which I can really remember off the top of my head, but also reminds me off the top of my head, if you have an NVidia graphics card, you want to search up NVidia, grab the NVidia Linux graphics driver from NVIDIA Corporation, from RPM Fusion non-free, and hit install, and that'll give you the graphics drivers that you need. You can see it's very recent, as of 10 days ago. And yeah. That's pretty straightforward on that part. I use AMD, so I don't have to bother with any of that. Now that our software store has everything, we want to go type in BTRFS, and you'll find BTRFS Assistant, and make sure you get it for Fedora Linux, just in case there is something else later. Gonna hit install, and this will help us do backup snapshots. So if a new update or something breaks something, we have backups on our file system, and it shouldn't add that much storage. I think on the whole it adds about 30 gigabytes, give or take. Either way, put in your password, and just like that, you can see we have all of our different stuff here. You have a lot of free space that you overbuy. But yeah, you can see a lot of information about your file system. Anyway, now that we have this installed, we just want to go to Snapper settings and then hit new config name. I'll just call it like main. Set the backup path to home, and then all you want to do is hit save. And now we have main. You can see it has a lot of stuff just set up by default. Generally, the default should be fine. It really doesn't add a lot of storage to your system. If I remember correctly, it's about 30 gigabytes worth of stuff. Now, the defaults are a bit aggressive, in my opinion. I don't really need this many backups, especially not really by the hour. Most of the time, if something breaks, it'll break within the day. So I'll just set it like that. I'll do like 5 snapshots a day. I don't need to go and work in overtime. And you also want to go and make sure that in your settings here, you enable all 3 of these things. Snapper timeline enabled lets it automatically tape snapshots for you. Snapper cleanup will automatically delete them once you have more than whatever your number is, which in this case we have set all the way up to 50. Not sure if I need that many, so I'll probably set it down to 30. And then Snapper boot enabled will take a snapshot every time your system boots up, which is genuinely super useful, and that's actually probably the main one you'd want. So we want to hit apply changes there as well, and then save, and now it's properly set up, and it'll do automatic snapshots and stuff for you without you having to think about anything. And generally, hopefully, you never see this ever again in your life, but if you ever have something go horribly wrong on your computer, where Fedora itself doesn't catch it, because most of the time, from my experience, when something goes wrong, Fedora itself already makes like some decent backups that can help you restore stuff, then this can help you restore everything. And I would only really recommend doing this for your home directory, but if you have a lot of data and you have a lot of space, you can make backups for every single thing by making new configs and setting them all up properly. But for most people, you just want to back up your home directory because that's your operating system. So outside of that, your computer will generally run like 99% of the time, and things will be fine. And with that all actually out of the way, that really is just about everything. You could also go install Multimedia Codecs while you're at RPM Fusion anyway. It doesn't really hurt to do. Might as well. This will make stuff just generally kind of work better and install like the ffmpeg stuff you need. So I'm going to let that kind of run its course, and you have some hardware accelerated ones. So if you need stuff like the AMD ones, you might as well grab whatever you need. You should also probably grab the hardware accelerated codecs for your GPU of choice. Most of the time this is already included by default, but just in case, I'll grab the AMD ones real quick. Just like this. Just paste that in. And yeah, you can see we go from the normal drivers to the free roll ones, which gives us just more types of stuff and generally makes stuff work better. And beyond that, that's genuinely everything. I know it's quite a lot to go through, especially if you're new to Linux, which is probably the people watching this video. If you're not new to Linux, though, and you have more tips and tricks for people new to Linux, please do leave them in the comments below so that people can read them, see them, and see some extra stuff to do, or maybe some stuff to fix if I got stuff in this video wrong. And yeah, with that being said, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.